At its base level, the universe operates on a strict algorithm. The second law of thermodynamics dictates that entropy, or chaos, must always increase. This rule determines the irreversible direction of time. It is the reason physical systems naturally degrade as they age, and why complex order never spontaneously generates out of thin air. For centuries, our only way to fight this decay was through brute force mechanics. We built massive machines, like this industrial turbine, burning physical fuel just to carve out a temporary pocket of order. Because of this law, the entire universe is essentially a decaying system, running down a one-way street toward total thermal equilibrium, a state where all energy is flat and unusable. But in 1867, a theoretical physicist named James Clerk Maxwell hypothesized a flaw in this universal algorithm. He imagined an entity, later known as Maxwell's demon. This creature could observe and sort individual molecules, effectively decreasing entropy without doing any physical work to move them. This schematic shows his proposed setup: an isolated chamber filled with a chaotic mix of gas. Some atoms are hot and fast, others are cold and slow. The chamber is divided by a wall. The demon monitors a microscopic shutter in the wall. By tracking the speed of every atom, it opens the door to let the hot ones pass to the right, and the cold ones pass to the left. Eventually, the box becomes perfectly segregated into a hot half and a cold half. The demon achieves this without spending any mechanical energy to push the particles around. By simply sorting data, the demon creates perfect order out of chaos. It effectively hacks the physical laws of reality. That newly sorted box now contains an artificial temperature differential. In physics, this represents a highly volatile state of low entropy, packed with potential energy. If you were to place a simple turbine between this hot and cold divide, at temperature gap would spin the blades, generating free electricity indefinitely. These illustrations show early designs for perpetual motion machines, devices that could theoretically do work forever without an external energy source. The demon's sorting process makes this impossible concept a reality. For nearly a century, theoretical physics was paralyzed by this paradox. The demon's math appeared absolutely flawless, yet the conclusion broke every rule we knew. If this thought experiment holds true, the foundation of energy conservation is gone, and the universe has a fatal logic bug. How does the universe's underlying architecture protect its codebase from a loophole like this? The fatal flaw in the original idea is that the demon cannot operate blindly. It requires memory to track, compute, and store its observations. From the demon's point of view, it is constantly reading velocity data, measuring and locking on to the physical trajectory of every individual molecule. This bridges the gap into information theory, the mathematical study of the quantification, storage, and communication of pure digital data. This proves the demon isn't a magical entity, but a physical processor. By treating its observations as data, we find it's strictly bound by the same laws that govern every other computer. All data processors have finite storage limits. Eventually, the demon's internal memory bank will hit its absolute maximum capacity. To keep its sorting algorithm running forever, the demon must eventually erase old data to make room for new inputs. In 1961, physicist Rolf Landauer successfully patched the paradox. He proved that erasing information is not a free action. Landauer's principle is a physical law stating that the irreversible erasure of information mathematically requires the dissipation of a specific minimum amount of heat. The decrease in entropy the demon created in the box was never actually eliminated. It was merely transferred and hidden away inside the demon's digital memory. This creates a thermodynamic debt, an inevitable energy cost that must be paid back to the universe to satisfy the second law. The critical moment arrives when the demon reaches maximum capacity and is forced to execute a deletion command. In the exact microsecond the data is deleted, the demon violently vents trapped heat back into the chamber. The intense heat released into the system by this deletion perfectly offsets all of the artificial order the demon originally created. Data is not an abstract concept. It is a physical property with mass and temperature. Ultimately, the universe's foundational codebase